Yeah, of course I have a joke. You know me right now. This is about three sisters, ages 92, 94, 96. The one that was 96, she decided to go upstairs to take a bath. So she puts one foot on top inside the bathtub and she stops. And she started yelling to their sisters. She said, "Help! I can't remember if I went inside or outside the tub." Second one, 94, said, "Oh my goodness, don't worry, coming to help." So she goes upstairs. Halfway she stops. And she said, "My goodness, I can't remember if I was going upstairs or downstairs." And the third one, 93, she said, "Knock on wood, I will never be that forgetful. I will go help you as soon as I check who's knocking at the door." I want to talk to you today about the good old days. The good old days. Because our memory, I don't know if you ever realize how powerful our memory is. The memories, it's something that, things that happened long time ago can affect our emotions, can affect our feelings, can affect the way we think, can affect the way we carry ourselves. Have it ever happened that maybe it happened to you or you noticed somebody else? That you are in a situation and all of a sudden the person or yourself start laughing. Out of the blue, just start laughing. Why? Because you remember something funny. And you laugh and the person, "What's wrong with you?" "Nothing, I just remember something that happened 20 years ago. Right? It was so funny, let me share it with you." Or maybe you're driving and you have a thought and it's affecting your feeling. And that way, even though it's not real, it's not happening right there. It happened long ago, but it's still affecting the way you feel, the way you behave. So the thing is, sometimes it could be good, could put you in a good mood, but most of the time, and this is the way we human beings, unfortunately, are wired, most of the time is the negative things that happened to us in the past, the ones that are affecting us the most. And they have the power to block our lives in many different aspects. So we have to be very careful on how we deal with all those negative memories that they will bombard us every day. And the thing is, I was reading a little bit, it was a little complicated. There are some scientific studies about this things of memories and how, unfortunately, the negative memories carry more weight and it stay there longer than the positive memories. So it's something that we have to deal with that. So it's not uncommon that we find ourselves day after day reliving negative things that happened to us in the past. Hurts, disappointments, bad breaks, betrayals, and they keep playing like a movie in our mind all the time. So if we let that happen, what I discovered is it's very difficult to focus into the good memories. It's very difficult. If we let our bad memories go wild, run wild in our mind, it's very difficult to focus on the good memories, the one that brings all the positive things in our emotion and feelings and our behavior. So it's not surprising that the Torah is dealing with that. And I believe in this week's Parsha, we have a very good piece of advice on how to control the way we think in a way that it can affect our lives in a positive way. Because this is affecting not only the way we behave with others, but only the way we behave with God. Sometimes the problem is many people struggle to connect with God because all they remember are the unanswered prayers. Well, all they remember is the time, God, that you weren't there for me. Although we can argue about that, but I'm pretty sure each one of us had many times in our lives where God was there and we felt the blessings knocking at our door, but we never remember those things. But it's because it's all part of the same thing. This week's Parsha has some very interesting. Let me read it for you. Let me read it for you. as you mentioned, I mentioned before, in the Torah, Moshe is reliving many of the things that happened in the past to the Jewish people. Moshe is about to die, and he wanted to leave this world with a very strong message. And Moses looked at everyone, and he said, take care and watch yourself closely so as not to forget the things that your eyes have seen, not let them slip from your mind all the days of your life. In other words, every single day. And make them known to your children and to your grandchildren. What an amazing thing. And let me explain. So much that we can read between lines right there. The fact that Moses said, watch yourself closely as not to forget the things. The rabbis understand what Moses is saying is, look, it's very important to remember all that. So what are you going to do? Are you going to just leave it to chance, to fate, to see if you're going to remember the good things? He said, no, watch it closely. You have to do something so you will remember what you're supposed to remember. It's like we do every day. Every day, if you work, you probably have like a planner or something that you will write down everything that you want to remember that day. And you do it every day. Because if you don't do it, if you leave it to chance, most likely, if you're like me, you will miss 90% of the things that you're supposed to do because you didn't write it down. So it says, every day, find a way to remember the good things. Every single day. There is more. It says, you should teach this to your children and to your grandchildren, and to say, look, they're like you. They're also going to be focused too much on the negative. So why don't you start with them when they are little, so they could develop habits to remember the good things, to overshadow the negative things. Because the habit to remember the good thing is sometimes who can help us to go through the challenges of our lives. I remember the story of David. Remember King David? One of his biggest obstacles was Goliath, this giant that he was challenging the Jewish people. And nobody could confront this giant Goliath, but David said, I'll do it. And I said, how can you do it? And David said, yes, I can do it. In the past, I killed a lion and a bear with my hands. I did that. I can take this guy, which is very interesting, because many things happened to David before his confrontation with Goliath. He was bullied by his brothers. He was told many times that he was unqualified to be the king to be in any position of leadership. He was too young. He was too weak. He was a shepherd. What do you know? And he was told that many times. And I'm sure that he felt hurt, his feelings, every single time that was told to him. But when the challenge came, he didn't remember that. He didn't say, sorry, I can't do it because, I've been told so many times that I'm not good, I'm too young, too weak. Now, pick somebody else. No, when the situation came, the good memories came. And he said, I remember. I did it before. I can do it now. So that's why it's so important to develop the habit of remembering the good things. So you will never forget that regardless of anything you are going through, you can do it because you've done it in the past. So I look at the Jewish calendar, and you will realize that we have all these festivals. Why do we have to celebrate all those festivals? To remember the goodness of the past. So we can relive it, and we can feed on those memories to connect with God, to connect with the Jewish people. Like, for example, as David mentioned, yesterday was Tu B'Av, the day of love. Many people didn't know that existed. But why do we have a day of love in the calendar? Because I would say this is one of the biggest struggles that we have. For example, to remember the good times in a couple. How many times do we stop to realize the blessing of whoever is next to us, to our wife, to our husband? We don't. So if we don't make ourselves to remember the good things, guess what's going to happen? The only thing you're going to remember are the fights, the discussions, and everything negative, because that's the way we are wired. So the fact that we have a day to remember the good thing is something that we should embrace and celebrate, instead of bypassing like something that is not important. It's extremely important to have moment to push ourselves to remember the good things, because those are the things that at the end of the day have the power to affect your emotions, your thoughts, and your behavior, to strengthen your relationships. And the same happens with every aspect of our lives. We need to find ways to stop and to make ourselves remember the good things. Because if we don't do that, all what is going to happen, and Moses knew it, is we are going to be overcome by bad memories. And the key for us to find joy and the strength to succeed in life is to find ways every day to remember the good old days. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.